WDHA Virtual Dog Days of Summer event in conjunction, of course, with our great partners at Dover Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. I've got some of my, I'm going to call them rescue heroes here. And it's so funny because whenever we do these things, it's always like the power ladies. Like the ladies are always out there doing the transports. Nothing against the guys. Guys, we love you. But there's always so many power ladies in rescue. And it's so inspiring to me. So I'm going to let you guys go around and I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. We're going to start with square one here with my good friend Susan from Rosemarie's Rescue Ranch. Give me a little bit of your mission statement, Sue, and how you guys are going, you know, moving along during the pandemic and beyond.
Great. Thank you so much, Terry. I'm delighted to be here. I'm Susan Janet, and I'm the president and co-founder of Rosemarie's Rescue Ranch out of West Caldwell, New Jersey. We are a compassionate, all-foster 501c3 rescue, and our mission is very simple, and that is to be a kind rescue and to be kind for people and to bring beautiful animals together with the right family. We're very, very careful about who we adopt out to, and we trust our gut, ultimately. It's ultimately looking in the eyes, and that's the ultimate decision after we've screened them. So my partner, Rosemarie, who I rescued with for many, many, many years, she, in her lifetime, she personally saved over 7,000 lives through an all-foster network. And I continue her mission. She passed away 2 years ago, but I promised her I would never stop. And we do this in her honor. In fact, I have a meet and greet here at my house at 11 o'clock that I'm looking forward to.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Awesome. All right, we'll move down one square to my good friend Trey. Trey is with Northstar Pet Rescue. I've loved working with you guys over the years. I know Tammy, who started the rescue with her husband, Jeff. Now, Tammy always says, Trey, that you're like the everything in the rescue. She's like, I couldn't do it without Trey. She's got to be the spokesperson. You know, you guys had a transport coming up today and a very, very busy day. So talk to us a little bit about Northstar.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, we had dogs arrive at 6:30 this morning. So we've been going since about 6 a.m. But so we're Northstar Pet Rescue. We're 100% foster and volunteer-based 501c3. We launched in about the fall of 2017. The main core of us all have been in rescue for over 8 years. Our main mission is to save at-risk dogs out of shelters. We have a kind of soft spot, and we're known for helping a lot of medical and senior dogs. So that's something that we always are really trying to do the most we can with that. We have a lot of network and volunteers and fosters in Texas as well. We have a whole branch there. And so we do save a lot of our dogs from shelters in Texas. Texas happens to be one of the states that has the highest euthanasia rate, and just a crazy amount of dogs, great dogs that just need help to get out of there. The dogs we had arrive this morning did come from Texas. So generally what we do is we'll pull a dog out of the shelter that's at risk. We'll place it in a foster home in Texas. It'll remain with that foster while we learn about the dog, get them healthy. Our fosters are great at nurturing them back, their spirits back at the same time. We're getting them all the medical care they need. And once they're ready, it's usually, they're at least in Texas for at least 3 weeks. That's the minimum. They'll move up to New Jersey and we'll place them in a New Jersey foster home. And then we'll look for their forever home. So it's kind of a slower process once we get a dog out of the shelter, which is great because we're able to really learn about the dog and find the actual right fit for them. And that's really, we've been plugging along during this COVID. We do have an adoption center in Boonton. We don't house dogs there. We do use that for meet and greets and events. We have had that closed since the shutdown. So we've kind of moved our operations into a fenced yard. With social distancing and masks and, all the protocols in place just so we could kind of keep plugging along. Thankfully that everyone still is out there looking for dogs to bring home. So that part has been excellent,
Awesome. And we'll move over to Chantelle. Hi, Chantelle. You are here representing 11th Hour Rescue.
Yes, I was asked to represent today. Normally Roger is the one who I guess is our spokesperson, but our founder, Linda Schiller, created the R501c probably about 16 years ago at this point. And, she started very similar that, she noticed that there were, dogs down in kill shelters that just had no way out and nowhere to go. And she just created a program and decided to pull in all the people she knew and create this foster organization, and it just grew and grew. And there are amazing people, amazing volunteers that just created an organization and made it what it is today. We are foster based, but we do have a shelter where we house some dogs. But I can say right now, through this virus, we have the lowest number of dogs at our shelter right now.
Wow. See, I love hearing that.
Yeah. I mean, when we get a transport up, those dogs are pretty much all spoken for. They go into foster homes, so that they can, decompress and get acclimated, but they're pretty much all spoken for as soon as they come up. And as far as the cats, we really try to we do a lot of local. There are so many stray cats that, cats that have been dumped or born outside. Right now we're flourishing with kitten season.
Oh yeah.
So I've done personally over 35 bottle babies since COVID started. And once they get to a certain age, I move them on to another foster.
Right.
But yeah, no, we've had great success with adoptions lately. We do have an adoption center in Roxbury, and it's open, but it's only open by appointment. So people who have approved applications get to come down, and we social distance and keep everybody at sit in certain time intervals and sanitize. But we're able to really see a lot of animals, find their homes. It's been absolutely incredible lately. I'm highly impressed.
Love hearing that. I mean, and I have a soft spot with 11th Hour Rescue, because when we started our Rock and Rough program almost 11 years ago, 11th Hour Rescue was the very first shelter that we ever had on WDHA's Rock and Rough. I wanted to start this program, and somebody from 11th Hour I met somewhere and talked about it, and she said, it was Ida actually, and she said, I can bring some dogs down to the station. And I said, oh, let's film them and see if we can come up with some kind of a rock meets rescue program. So 11th Hour, we're with you guys at Puptoberfest every year. So always a soft spot in my heart for 11th Hour Rescue.
We will be having our Puptoberfest. We're working on it, having meetings and trying to figure out how we're going to do it.
How we're going to best do Puptoberfest. And all my best to Linda Schiller too, who's just an incredible, incredible lady.
Absolutely.
So I love hearing, I think that we've had a great response to adoptions for a bunch of reasons. We've had it because people were working from home. Everybody was sent home, mostly everybody. So there was usually somebody in a household. So people thought, well, if I'm home now might be a good time. That's number one. Number two, I also feel like animals get adopted when people feel like they need something extra. They feel like they need just a little something extra to hold on to. I know during this whole crisis, I was so freaked out and scared in the beginning and stuff. Spending time with my dogs was just the most decompressing and de-stressing thing for me. It was the only way I could de-stress a little bit. And in just walking my dogs in the neighborhood, I see new families that have new pets that have said, I'm probably not going to be going back to the office in a full-time capacity anytime soon. So we thought, the kids are home. We thought it'd be a good time to teach them some responsibility. Do you guys think that this crisis, because I remember in the beginning, and especially I spoke with Tammy, Trey, and Roger, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, we're all a contact sport. Radio's a contact sport. You guys are a contact sport with big events and coming to the local pet stores to be able to find your adoptables that are at a PetSmart or whatever, showcasing for the day. Everybody was panicked, and I think things were a little bit different than we thought. So Susan, I'll start with you. You said you've had a lot of dogs out and you're hoping that they don't come back once people go back to work. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, fortunately, we're very careful about who we adopt out to. but the emails that come in,
Yeah.
people wanting, I can't even keep up with it. I get hundreds of emails a day, and I have a transport arriving shortly from Kentucky, and those animals are going to be scooped up just like that. We can't keep them in our program. They get adopted so fast. So of course we're concerned that people aren't thinking it through as carefully as they normally would with adopting these animals. So we're really careful to talk about the future with them. That is one of our interviewing questions, is where do you see yourself in a year? And where does this pet fit into your lifestyle in a year from now? I want to just interject, and I didn't mention this before, we have 43 volunteers that are working with us, and they have been amazing through all of this. They have been taking in the animals, and like I said, they don't stick, they don't stay, they just go right away.
Which is such awesome news. And I think I don't want to forget about the volunteers too. Volunteers are the thing that make the machine just work. I mean, it doesn't work without your volunteers. People there to meet transport. Chantelle, you guys still have some dogs in the shelter, some animals in the shelter. Those animals need to be fed. Those animals need to be walked. Those animals need to be cared for.
We have incredible volunteers. They're just diehard, dedicated. They put these animals first. They come out like nothing stops them. I've actually found that when I go on our Facebook page and say, oh, can somebody, go transport, a dog or a cat from Newark to here or there, and people are like eager to do it now because, they're trying to find something to do and they want to help, and they know that, they can't do everything that we used to do because like our Rockaway Adoption Center is closed right now. So I find I have volunteers at my beck and call to be able to help me, with the programs that I run.
In times of trouble, people always do want a sense of purpose. We all do. We all want a sense of purpose. I mean, we knew that we weren't going to be doing Rock and Rough filmings or our Dog Days of Summer event. Dover Dodge came to us and said, no, we're not doing the event this year. We have to do something. What can we do to help our shelters? We still want to make sure that the top of mind awareness, we feel like getting the word out has been such a big part of what we do at the station, and alleviating some of the stress and pressure around New Jersey. We really wanted to debunk the myth that there was something wrong with shelter dogs. And I've had people say to me, oh, you never know what you're going to get in a shelter. And I say, no, that's the opposite. You know what you're going to get in a shelter. If you've got an adult dog, if that dog has health problems, I'm not saying every single time, but I'm saying, there's always a full disclosure. The shelters don't want the dogs to come back. So if it's a dog that maybe not great with other dogs, you'll know that. So you do know what you're getting when you go to a local animal shelter. And we wanted to sort of have that myth that there's something wrong with shelter dogs. We all know dogs end up in shelters rather, of no fault of their own. People get divorced, people move, a new baby comes into the family and the stress level is too high. We saw people that lost their lives to COVID.
Yes.
And all these sweet little dogs that were like, what happened to my life? Where are my parents? Did you guys see, Trey, any of that? I know you guys are mostly down south, but you still see that in southern shelters. You see that, the amount of dogs or dogs that were needing homes because family members, were losing their lives or couldn't keep.
Yeah, there was some of those, definitely. And we actually do also rescue locally when it's like an owner surrender or some kind of situation like that. I didn't see as many as I thought I would, but I think it's also part of the fact is that because everyone's at home, more family members or friends were able to step in to help where maybe they wouldn't have had they were running around doing their normal busy life when it happened. So we did see a lot of dogs being, rehomed within the family, which is great, just less of a disruption for the dog.
Absolutely.
People they know, so, and I guess it also comforting for the family to be able to, kind of holds on to a piece of the person they lost, you know?
No question
Yeah.
about it. And you feel so great being able to step in there for a family member and know that their last wishes would be that their animal would end up being with somebody that they knew and they trusted. And there's no question about that. So talk to me now, moving forward. Are things changing a little bit? Have things changed a little bit? Are you guys opening up, say, Chantelle, maybe at the shelter with some different hours or not a complete lockdown? Are you taking donations at the shelter? We certainly have.
We always take donations. If anything, in the very beginning, the donations were a little slow because people didn't know where to drop off.
Correct.
But we're finding that it's all coming back, and people are being very generous. Our hours, obviously, we're very careful at the shelter. We have to be careful who comes in buildings, and we have to keep our staff, safe and all of that. But we're also finding that we started doing virtual meets. And we found that virtual meets were actually amazing for some of the shy animals. I started it with the cats. Sometimes cats don't show well when there's a new person that comes into the home. So we started doing it virtually, and I found once people understood how this animal could blossom with the foster, they understand that it's going to take some time with them, but see the potential.
I love that too. I love seeing an animal in a home setting.
Yeah.
That's why we bring them, we could go out to shelter groups to film Rock and Rough, but we like to have them at the station where they can sit on our couch and wander into people's offices. And I think when people see that, then they feel like they can picture that dog on their couch. They can picture that dog sitting with them at a computer or something. So, when the dogs come into WDHA to film, we do that. That's kind of done by design so people can get a different, and some people always say, I don't want to go to a shelter because it's going to make me sad. There's always that aspect where, 11th Hour Rescue is, a no-kill organization. You guys are both foster-based organizations. So you want to tell people it doesn't make you sad. People say, oh, don't you get sad seeing all that? And I say, no, I get updates. I get hundreds of updates every year from people who are like, I heard about this dog on Rock and Rough, or I heard about another dog, but then realized that dog maybe wasn't the right dog for us. So we found this dog, at 11th Hour, or, we went to the Rockaway Mall, to the adoption center because we heard you talking about it, or, and here's our dog under the Christmas tree. So it never makes you sad. You think it would, but it doesn't. It never makes you sad because there's so many amazing success stories. Have you guys done any virtual meet and greets as well?
I have never done a virtual meet and greet, but I'm going to take your idea and run with it because I think that's phenomenal to show them in a home environment. The way we do meet and greets with kittens and with cats is we have the family bring a carrier, put it on the front steps, the front porch. Then we have the family that's fostering go get the carrier and bring it inside and put the cat in it. And then the meet and greet takes place inside the car with the windows up. And if they like the cat, they keep it. If they're not sure, they put it back in the carrier and return it. But I think a more ideal thing is what you suggested as virtual meet and greet.
For shy cats.
Yes.
And then once they decide they want to adopt, then we do the same thing. You bring your carrier to their door, they bring the carrier in, they put the cat in. We email the contracts.
Right.
We work out the money, situation. It's been absolutely, I think we're going to keep it around.
I think so too. We've been completely non-contact. Everything is virtual. Everything is, we get paid by Venmo or PayPal or however they want to get the money to us, but nothing touches hands.
Same here.
All contracts are online now. So everything like that.
And that was also why I wanted to do this too, because I want people that are watching this to feel comfortable. Because, to not feel like you're going to have to go to, a big shelter with a lot of people, and there's a lot of people around, there are some people that maybe are immunocompromised or have an immunocompromised person in their family, and they're not going to be that quick to go out and to go to a restaurant or to go to a grocery store or to, so I want people to know that even if you're in a lockdown, rockdown, as we like to call it, you can still add, a new family member. Trey, talk to us a little bit about how you guys are doing it, because I know you want to jump in.
Yeah, so we've actually, we've moved reviewing the contract with them over the phone before they come. So because normally we would go through every point of the contract with them in person on the day of the meet and greet. But so we've been doing that ahead of time. But also we've always all along since our dogs are in foster, once we have an approved adopter interested in a dog, a lot of times we'll connect them with the foster. And at that time, videos are going back and forth, and it's like a group chat that we have going on with the foster, the adopter, and everyone else that had any knowledge of the dog along the way. And so it is kind of a virtual type thing. So by the time they're actually meeting the dog, they've kind of already met the dog, just not in person. So which is we've always done that, and we'll continue to do that. The one thing that was different is we are going over the contract ahead of time over the phone with them before they come. So they're printing it, initialing it, and doing everything, and just kind of, putting it on the table. So everything's been going pretty smooth. I mean, we had some hiccups in the very beginning, as far as transports and stuff. We saved dogs from about over 10 different shelters that we normally work with in Texas that go from like Dallas all the way to the Rio Grande Valley. It's a lot of land in between there. So not just getting the dogs to New Jersey, a lot of times we're transporting from one part of Texas to the other to get the dogs safe to a foster. And I know in the beginning we had some hiccups with transports not running. So we had to get creative. We even had an adopter who flew to Texas and drove a mom and puppies to New Jersey to us a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so this adopter actually was looking to adopt Skylar, a dog we had rescued months ago, was approved to meet her when she arrived. When we got her to the foster in Texas, surprise, she was pregnant. Oh. So these amazing adopters have been waiting for her to come for months while she was with our foster in Texas raising her little puppies. And they were scheduled all to arrive, and the transport got canceled because this was when the COVID all just first happened, and we had them scheduled to come on a transport that was a volunteer, no paws on the ground because of the puppies, which decided to close temporarily during this time. So now they were, our foster was fine. She could hold on to the puppies and mom, but these adopters have been waiting for quite some time. So they actually offered to fly down to Texas and bring the whole family to us. Wow. So we actually, we rented a van in Texas, and we tagged in another rescue in Texas that we work with a lot. They totally helped us up because they outfitted the van with everything that they needed, crates, fans, everything that was needed for this journey, and helped meet the adopters to get the puppies and get them all settled and on the road. So it was like a whole team effort that happened.
Oh my gosh.
And the puppies arrived safely, and all the puppies had adopters too. So it was
that's amazing.
That
and those are people that they're they're on the Can Adopt for Life program. You don't ever get another application for those people.
Well, what's interesting is they had another dog, so they were doing all this not knowing if they were going to even be able to officially adopt Skylar till the dogs met and to see if the dogs were compatible. So they did all this. And they're compatible. Yes. So Skylar's been home with them for a couple weeks now. Everything's going great.
Great. So. You want to see great people get rewarded. Listen, I'm going to go around again one more time and let everybody know how people can reach you guys and how people can find you guys. Because I have to tell you, the group that we have here, I'm just so inspired that when tragedy struck, and nobody knew. I mean, we all had to reinvent every wheel we knew overnight. We had about a 10-day period to figure things out. How are we going to do things? How are we going to keep what we love to do going and moving and going and moving? And, you guys did a tremendous job. In fact, turning a negative into a positive, which is something that's really, really hard to do. So Susan, if people want to find out about Rosemarie's Rescue Ranch, how can they find you guys online?
Okay, well, I'm all over Facebook, first of all. You can always find us on Facebook. Just search for Susan Janet, Janett, or Rosemarie's, IES, Rescue Ranch. We're all over Facebook. We're online. And we would love for you to contact us.
Excellent. And we're going to have all your links up too. Trey, just give us the Northstar mantra again.
So yes, you can find us online at northstarpets.org. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. We're pretty active on social media, so you can always find us on there.
And you make those great little pictures, right? Are you the artist that does that with the dog?
I am. Yes. So I do all of our social media as far as
amazing
creating the posts and coming up with whatever we're going to put out there. And you know, we're pretty active on there. I mean, that following has been tremendous, especially through all this. As we know, with everything going virtual and more people online, it's been really fantastic to just, you know, when we need help with anything, you know, the public is really, you know, there to back you up. So which is fantastic.
Awesome. And Chantelle?
Yes, so we have our Facebook page as well, which is 11th Hour Rescue, but we also have Cats of EHR, which is a Facebook page that's solely for the cats. You can find us at ehrdogs.org and to fill out an application to adopt, foster, volunteer, or donate. And I would tell people, get your applications in. You know, you may not even see the animal online that you want right now, but once you're approved, your application is good for 6 months. And I'm telling you, there are always animals, dogs, cats that are going to need homes. So if you don't see who you want now, and they will eventually find somebody on our website. So.
Excellent. Ladies, you are so inspiring. I'm so happy that we had the opportunity just to catch up, to chat, to get everybody familiar with your awesome rescue groups. Thank you so much for being part of our virtual Dark Days of Summer. I cannot wait till our next actual in-person event where we can hang out together. We have to have a dog and a cocktail together. So thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you
guys. And keep doing what you're doing, Opt to Adopt. I don't know what we would do without you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.